It's a busy morning for arcade news, so let's jump into it.
Arcade Heroes.
Hey everyone, it's Adam with ArcadeHeroes.com. I hope you had an awesome weekend. And after a week or more with little to no arcade news at all, we now have quite a bit to talk about this morning. And so, really quick, I'll mention this one isn't so much news as just more details into an existing game. But if you hadn't seen the link this morning, as it's possible it got buried underneath the other stuff that I posted, I have some screenshots from Sega Amusements and 3 Mind Waves Apex Rebels, some new ones that are focused on the cars. And with that, you're able to also see the stats and all that. I think you can right click on those and open them up for larger views if you so prefer. But yeah, that's not the news. Most of what I'm going to talk about today falls down on the side of pinball. And I've actually been working on a video to discuss pinball earnings from last year. I've been trying to get some numbers from operators out there. I did have somebody send me something on Facebook this morning, but one of the files I can't even read what it is because the resolution's so low. So I'm just waiting to get more on that. And I think I had somebody else trying to contact me with some details. But yeah, so I'll be getting that video out hopefully sometime this week. But until then, let's talk about the 2 games that have been announced this morning, starting with American Pinball. They're a company that's been around for a few years already, and you might have played one of their games, be it Houdini, Oktoberfest, Hot Wheels, Legends of... Is it Valhalla? Is that right? Yeah, I've played that one before and everything. And most recently, Galactic Tank Force. And so, Galactic Tank Force, the standard version, was released last year on March 22nd. And I got to play it at Amusement Expo. In fact, I think that was the official release date for it, was then. And I embedded this video here which teaches you a little bit more about how to play the game, goes through the rule sets, and it's all segmented out through different chapters. One of those things you'd want to watch before you go to the arcade to play it, just because it's going to have far too many details for you to be sitting at the arcade to learn. Of course, I guess in general, when it comes to pinball, I guess that's part of the problem is pinball is so complicated that to understand everything about it, that you really need to study it. Whereas most things that do really well in an arcade requires zero brain effort at all, or study to understand how they operate and how to play them, how to fully enjoy them. And so I'm not meaning that to just be about Galactic Tank Force. It's really every single pinball machine has that hurdle to overcome, and I think that's why casuals may not always be drawn to it sometimes, because they have to or they figure, oh gosh, I gotta figure out all these things and I don't know what hitting all these targets in this certain order does, or if they even think of it that deep. So got some casuals playing Tekken right now, as you might have heard over the screaming and the yelling there. But for Signature Edition, so this would be like the limited edition, collector's edition. Every company has different names. Stern usually calls theirs limited edition, but sometimes they'll have a special edition out there too. But for this particular model on American Pinball's Galactic Tank Force, it's Signature Edition. This photo here was taken last year, and so they've had the Signature Edition in the works for a while, but guessing just maybe came up with some additional tweaks, as well as just waiting for sales to get to where they need to be on the standard edition before they came out with this one. This is Dennis Nordman. He's the principal game designer behind this game. Of course, there are many other people involved in the creation of a pinball machine, but we still generally look at these guys as, say, the director of each machine, and so he came up with a lot of the concepts there. And as you can see, when this one has its back box down, it looks like a tank. Now, I've heard some grumbling about that. Obviously, on location, that's not something you're probably going to want to do, like go in every day and put it down, and then when you're ready to turn the machine on, put it back up. So it'll probably just always be up. And of course, with that tank turret portion on the back, it means that the game would probably have to be sticking out a little bit more. But that would allow you to maybe see these cool tank treads that have animated LEDs inside of them, which is a nice touch. But overall, they're only making 200 of these, and I don't think it's really intended for the commercial market. I mean, obviously it will work. It has a coin door, and so there could be a location or two out there, but limited at 200. Most likely this is going to be in a collection, and so it may be somewhat difficult to find out there in the wild, so to speak. But if you do get one either for your location or for your collection, here's what you get with it. I guess they do need a slightly better resolution flyer there, but there's two 18 by 24 posters that have different artwork on them. You have this 36 by 60 inch banner, which this is something that would be awesome for locations. It's like if Pinball started doing more things like this to help promote that you have pinball on location, I would appreciate that. I have a few things for my video games outside, mainly from my XR Arcadia, as each one of those games comes with a big A1 size poster. But I also have a stand-up pop standee, I think they're called, from Samurai Showdown 5 Perfect, which I put out every morning. I have a big banner for Minecraft Dungeons Arcade. And so as an operator, I wouldn't mind it if every game came with some sort of promotional artwork to help you advertise it on location. But of course, as I said, I kind of doubt that this one's going to be out there in many locations, so this will probably look great for collectors who take photos of their Galactic Tank Force along with the rest of their collection. But a couple of things that you also get where these are obviously for the person who's purchasing the machine and not for the players. A special edition pint glass and a tin lunchbox and thermos, very 50s in that regard. And so obviously you're not going to be giving that out to every customer that comes along since you only get one. But yeah, that's what it comes with. And as far as I'm aware, the playfield itself is exactly the same. So just the differences are the cabinet, the artwork. You get the powdered, coated guardrails, side rails, lock bar, all that stuff. I think the plunger might have a difference there. But yeah, something for collectors. If you're interested, you want to contact one of your American Pinball authorized distributors and see how much it's going for. I haven't heard what the price is on this one yet. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think about Galactic Tank Force Signature Edition as we go to the next one. I guess that guy is excited about it. We have the Princess Bride. It's coming to arcades through Multimorphic Pinball, and so this was announced this morning as well, where we have this these details. Now, it's been rumored for a little bit. I think I mentioned it on the blog that there was this website that just popped up saying that, I think it was theprincessbridepinball.com. Didn't say who was operating it, and I know a lot of pinball fans were trying to dig in to figure out who it was that had bought the domain and had set this up. But it turns out it's a company called Multimorphic, and so they have a system with interchangeable play fields, and I've covered this before. The most recent release they did is through Weird Al Pinball, and I haven't had a chance to play that one, unfortunately. This is another one that's I love the concept of a a pinball machine where you can change out the play field relatively quickly and change it over to a new game. So change out all the artwork and everything that you need to, and then change out the play field. I can't remember how long it takes to swap one of these out, but as far as I'm aware, it's relatively quick. And obviously, once you already own the base unit, you buy a kit, and you'll be able to refresh the game for a cheaper price than you would, say, on buying a full machine. And before we get to the trailer, I probably should be playing that first, but before we get to that trailer, here are some of the details with the pricing. So if you buy a dedicated machine, it starts at 11,500, sorry, and then goes up from there to 13,750 for the collector's edition. But if you already have a P3 multimorphic cabinet and you just want the kit, 3750 for the standard, 5000 for the limited edition. But again, let's get into the trailer here, and then we'll get into more of the details. Sorry, no sound, just because stupid YouTube algorithm will ding me and everything. Because it does have, they say a bunch of clips from the movie, and so I'm sure that's all owned by Disney or whatever. I think it's Disney that owns the Princess Bride IP now after they bought 20th Century Fox. But anyways, so with all the P3 multimorphic systems, the lower part of the play field is mostly a monitor, and then the upper part is where you have all your mechanical stuff going on. And so let's see. Oh, and then of course if you get the limited or collector's edition, you get that really cool looking topper where it lights up the different pages from the story. That's a nice touch. I like that topper. Oh, that's cool with the collector's edition. I didn't notice that before with the swords integrated into the sides. That's really cool. I like that. I guess one thing that is a little weird with this is because they can't drill a hole through the LCD, they have to have these those arms above the playfield. I really like that waterfall, or the cliffs of Insanity, I think those were called. It's been a little while since I've seen the movie. I mean, growing up in the 80s and the 90s, I mean, this is one of those movies you just saw. Everybody had seen it. And it still holds up. I saw it, I think, sometime early last year, and yeah, it still holds up pretty well. Great comedy / fantasy, but yeah, the cliffs there, that's a really nice touch with the magnet. Looks like, is it 1 or 2 ramps? Yeah, 2 ramps there. And of course, stand-up targets, pop bumper, or sorry, not pop bumper, but pop-up targets. So pre-orders open tomorrow on February 20th, and then production begins this summer. And then I guess the rest of this is just kind of promoting how the multimorphic or the P3 system works, where they have these other themes you can get. Oh, that's right. Weird Al's Natural Museum of Hilarity. But it's, so P3 started off with their own designs. Of course, anything with a license always grabs a lot more attention. Although I would say that Multimorphic is doing a better job at marketing overall, because I remember in the past when the new playfields came out, I don't remember seeing any info on them at all. They didn't set up a new website to promote it, and just the details were a little more scant than they've been lately. Now maybe they're just stepping up the game because now they have licenses, and you need to step up your game when you're dealing with licenses. But either way, it's still nice that they're improving the marketing options there. But yeah, so there's just another look at the playfield, which again, they do have a half or a quarter of a solid playfield there with artwork on it that you would expect with a more traditional style pinball machine. But then with the monitor, they're able to do more dynamic things and give you instructions right there on the screen, which maybe helps get the shots that you need to a little better. I am very curious, though, as to what the earnings would be on a multimorphic machine versus a standard pinball machine, if it's any different. Is it better? Is it worse? I haven't heard, because I haven't heard of many locations grabbing one. I mean, granted, it's a little tough at that price point. As I've mentioned, once pinball machines all started getting above $7,000, I've just become very disinterested because they just don't make a lot of money, and you have to put a lot more money into maintaining them so that they keep working, so that people still play them, than you do anything else that you buy for the arcade business. And so it just, unfortunately, with the way inflation has affected pinball, it's just made it so that I've become much less prone to wanting to buy something. Now, of course, I could always sell something off and put that money towards a new machine, but it depends on what it is. I mean, I have to say it is tempting to get, say, a base machine and then, or just buy one of these and then eventually buy a kit. It's just still at $11,000, probably more $12,000 after shipping and taxes and all that. I mean, that's something that's going to take a very, very long time to pay itself off, at least in my situation. Now, yes, I know, if I was a bar arcade and selling alcohol and stuff, my pinball would probably do better. But I have heard from some operators who do put pinballs into bars where they say it actually doesn't do any different than anything else. And that if you put pinball next to skee-ball always annihilates it as far as earnings goes. So, I don't know. But, maybe something like this, it's different enough that could stand out to players. And, of course, an IP like this, for old fogies like me, then they would probably be drawn to it. But it's something that also would work for kids as well. I don't know how many kids out there know what The Princess Bride is, but even if they don't, just the friendly, inviting fantasy theme might still draw them in. And so let's see, so there's different artwork for standard between limited and collectors. You have your standard translights. The limited edition artwork comes for both of those, and they call that the Fire Swamp Topper. Be great if it had actual flames shooting out of it, right? No. At least fake flames. But let's see. Translights. So there's a collector's edition translight. Bronze powder-coated legs and armor. Decorative cabinet-mounted swords is only for the collector's edition. Custom LCD framing back glass, or I guess everything else here, it's for the custom. So custom launch button, number plaque, signed certificate of authenticity, printed limited edition translite. And with limited edition, you only get 750 of these being made, whereas collector's edition will only have 500 made. And so, yeah. Oh, yeah, and they also have some improvements made to the overall system and cabinet. So if you are going to invest in a P3 cabinet, now sounds like the best time to do so. But again, you won't be able to get there grab this until this summer sometime. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that. But, yeah, what are your thoughts on The Princess Bride? Is this the type of machine that would get you out to an arcade to play some pinball? Or is it something that you would gladly throw into your collection? Are you hesitant because of this multimorphic P3 system design with the interchangeable stuff and the playfield being like that? Or do you not mind and you're still fine with it? Let me know that in the comments below. And we have one more thing to mention that I caught right before I started filming here, and that is a new sports game from ICE that just popped up this morning. It looks like a kids-sized basketball game that they're calling Double Dribble. And so I've seen arcade basketball machines just like this before. Sega had one for a while with Sonic the Hedgehog branding on it. I mean, this looks very similar to that Sonic one, just slightly different cabinet, but like the setup with the two hoops like that is exactly the same. Okay, there's a machine. Yeah, I mean, it's a basketball machine. There's not a whole lot to really say about these. compared to other arcade machines, and sometimes that's why I don't really cover certain aspects of the arcade industry, like basketball machines, crane machines, stuff like that, because most of the time there's just not much there. You just intuitively know what it is and how to play it from the get-go. You just need to see it, and it's like, okay, I know what to do. The opposite of pinball, where it does require a bit more time and effort to figure out how this particular game plays, what are the rules and all that. But I guess with this video posted today, that means it's available now, so we'll see. But yeah, that's the arcade news. For anybody interested in the Apex Rebels stuff, just so you know that I am going to be posting more about this come probably Wednesday. So I have some media from the fourth track that was not available at IAPA called Sakura Motorland. And so I'll have some exclusive shots for you then, so maybe tomorrow on Tuesday or maybe Wednesday. But if you're a member to the YouTube channel here, then guess what? You already have a couple of those shots, so go out to your community tab and check that out. I also posted some stuff about Jurassic Park Arcade from the development of that over the weekend, in case you missed that. But either way, which one of these games interests you the most? And comment below and we'll catch you on the next video.